Hey friends, this is Carlton Lewis, aka Mellow Melanin, aka Mega Businessman, coming to you live and direct from Atlanta, Georgia. And in this video, I wanted to present to you a book review. And I hope if you're within the earshot of my voice and you are an entrepreneur, and you're, even if you're not an entrepreneur but you want to be more, I hope you're doing some type of personal development on an ongoing basis. And because most successful people, they read a lot of books. Okay, that's just hands down, they read a lot of books. And this one is no exception. And it's so funny because this book is called the Millionaire Booklet. It's a small booklet by Grant Cardone, best-selling author, very successful businessman. So he definitely practiced what he preaches. But the subtitle is How to Get Super Rich, and he breaks down 8 steps to millionaire status. And if you haven't read some of Grant's other work, I would suggest that you check it out. Um, let's see here. All right, so I suggest that you check it out. The one that I'm in love with on audiobook is the 10x rule. And that's a really, really good book. If you want to take your game to the next level, then he shows you how to do it in that book. He gives you some very practical, down to earth steps. So this book is a really short book. It's not that long. It's about let's see how many pages this book has. I mean, it's an easy read. You can read it in a day or a couple of days. 43 pages of content. 43 pages of content. It's really easy, really simple to read. And the first thing he really talks about getting started, and I'm going to go over the 8 steps real quick. But the first things he talks about, he gives his introduction of why he wrote the book. And he wrote the book. He has a nice story that he tells about why he wrote the book. And people were doing some kind of charity benefit, and they were short maybe like $1 million from their goal. And one gentleman just came up and he donated $1 million. And he said he could tell that everybody in that room wanted to be that guy who had donated $1 million. And what he starts off talking about that story, and then he goes into how getting rich is not a fantasy. A lot of people talk about getting rich, but it's not really a fantasy because people do it every day. So it's not beyond something that the average person, if they do some, if they change some of their thinking and change some of their action, that's really the 10x rule. You increase your level of thinking and increase your level of actions, then you can get to that level that you want to, and even if that level is being rich. He also talks about where to get your advice. Those cover the first 2 chapters. Getting rich is not a fantasy, and chapter 2 is where you get your advice. And you got to be really careful. And I learned that from one of my other mentors. Be careful of who you take advice from. And this guy was super rich too. Be careful who you take your advice from. The best people to take advice from is people who've walked the path that you want to go down. You like the kind of results they're getting, then you should definitely take their advice. You should listen to their advice. A lot of people that tell you that you can't do something have never done it before, and I really encourage you to shy away from those people. There are people, who may have a fear that they're dealing with. They're basing their opinion on what you should do based on their own fears and limitations, and that will hold you down if you agree to what they're saying about whatever the situation is. So let's get into these 8 steps. He breaks these down into 8 steps. The first one is the millionaire decision. That's the first step. The first step is just making a choice to do it. Decide that you're going to be a millionaire or a decamillionaire or whatever, rich. Decide that you're going to be rich. It all starts with that decision. If you don't make a conscious decision to say, well, listen, I'm going to be rich, then how can you ever expect to get to that? That's everything starts with the thought, and you got to have that thought, what it's, to yourself to say, hey, I want this. It doesn't matter what it is, but in this case, we're talking about being a millionaire. The millionaire decision. You have to make a decision to be a millionaire. The second step It's Millionaire Math. And this is one of the things that kind of it's so simple that you can overlook it, because you wouldn't just think about it. And he broke it down like, what does it take for you to get to $1 million? What it would take. What would it take? And I mean, and you can get $1 million. Say you can, yeah, you can win the lottery, you know, but there are more practical ways to get $1 million. If your salary is $50,000 a year, it'll take 20 years. You'll have $1 million. That's a slow way to go, but that can be done. Now, you can, let's say if you're in selling a product or service, and many of you are listening to this are entrepreneurs, so you're selling products and services. If 5,000 people buy a $200 product, you've made $1 million. You know, let's say if you got a product that it goes for $100. It gives you $100 in your pocket. You need 10,000 people to buy that product, and you'll have $1 million. I mean, it's not rocket science, and it's just simple math. And e- surprisingly enough, as long as I've been an entrepreneur, I don't think I ever really sat down and really thought about it like this. Well, it'll take me enough of these to become a millionaire. I may have done it with lower amounts, but I've never, that I can remember, done it to the point, and really consistently focused on making that my target, and say, okay, I just need to move this many units of whatever this item is or whatever this service is. I need to have this many sales in order to reach $1 million. I never really just sat there with that and thought about it. Number three, you want to increase your income. So once you've done the math and you realize, how real it is, those things, those examples I just gave you about the numbers, those are real tangible things. That can be done. People do it all the time. So you need to focus on increasing your income streams. So like, you may have a job, and I'm very guilty of this. Very guilty of this. I've done this more than one time. I'll cut that income stream off, quit my job and go do something else and say, well, hey, I'm going to work it out over here instead of building up the income stream that I have. Now, if you're in a position, where that you can do much, much better, where, by leaving, I wouldn't tell anybody to just quit their job cold turkey. You got to weigh all of the factors. But if you have a job, that's an income stream. That's an income stream. Keep that income stream and work on your business part time. Work on whatever you're selling part time and grow that second income to the point where it just doesn't make any sense for you to stay at the other place anymore. Some people have, a full-time job and they do their business part-time, but they keep their jobs, for insurance purposes. So you got to know what, how your household is set up, how the things that you value are going to, how you're going to benefit by adding incomes. So you definitely want to increase your income. You can, figure out things where you're already at. If there's a way at your job where you can, create some additional income, then you need to look at doing that. Number four, and this is really, really interesting. It's called who's got my money? And that's a question you should ask yourself. One of my mentors, my main mentor, she tells me, she says, and she learned this from her mentor. She said, the money that you want is in the pockets of other people. The money that you want is in the pockets of other people, and it's your job to figure out how to get those people to give that money to you happily and gladly. And he's basically saying the same thing in this chapter. Who's got my money? So your job as a person, as an entrepreneur on the way to wealth, is to find out who's got your money. And you do that, of course, yeah, you want to learn some marketing. You got to learn something, and that's really important. You got to learn something. The if you're selling a product or a service, you need to find the people who are most likely to buy that product or service. They have your money. Okay, they have your money. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I do Uber, and Lyft. I do ride share. I give people rides, but I go to places where I know that people are already spending money. Those are the people that have my money. I know it. So that's where I go. And there's never a shortage for me, once I started thinking like that. Number five, stay broke. And I know that sounds crazy. It's a counterintuitive way of thinking, but the way he says go broke, he's talking about, you know, don't spend a whole lot of time wasting money. Don't let money sit up. Don't give money a chance to sit around and do nothing. You need to have that money working. So whenever you get some money, put it somewhere where it can be working and making more money. There's a quote in this book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and there's a passage, and I don't know the exact quote, but they talk about for every dollar that you have, you want to get 100% appreciation for it. So you want it to double. You want it to work. You want you want it to work for you. So if it's just sitting around under a mattress, it's not working. So what he says is he stayed broke. He didn't give his money a chance to just sit around. He always put the money to work, and you should be doing that too. So once you're increasing your incomes and you find out who's got your money, then you need to be figuring out how to make that money work. And he says here, and this kind of piggybacks on that, number six, save to invest, don't save to save. And that goes back to the example of the keeping the money under the mattress. That money under the mattress is not working. I mean, it's good to have an emergency, don't get me wrong, but the majority of your money should be working. It should be working, so you save your money to invest it. He says once he would get to a point, he'd save his money, and then he'd see where something that he can invest in, and then he would funnel the money over there to the investments. He just didn't have the money just sitting around, but he saved to invest to make the money grow. And that's how one of the sixth step, to get super rich. Then what you want to do is create multiple flows of income. Okay, so multiple streams of income. You've heard this, but what he talks about, which I really like, is he talks about things, if say you've created one income stream, right? So in the network marketing world, right? So you've got and you're using something where you're selling, you may sell affiliate products. You may sell coaching. All of these things are related. So I'll give you a good example. That would be somebody like Ray Higdon. All right. Ray Higdon, he started off as in network marketing. Started from the bottom, just like everybody else. But now guy is one of the most prominent authorities on network marketing. But what he did is he not only did he sell his products and services that his network marketing company offered, he also sold tools and training for other network marketers. He started coaching network marketers. He started selling courses for network marketers, creating his own courses. And now, he's one of the foremost authorities. And that's how you create multiple flows of income, from your main primary things. All of these things are parallel to from his main source of income. So number eight, repeat, reinforce, and hyper focus. So once you start seeing some successes, you want to continue that. It's rinse and repeat, basically. So once you do that, you want to continue going, continue going, continue going. Now, and I'll be the first one to tell you that I've made the mistake and took my foot off the gas and didn't repeat something that I knew that worked. I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. I'm sure you can relate to that. You've taken your foot off the gas. You did something once and it worked. And you say, "Oh, okay, this is cool. It works." And then you sit back and rest and relax. No, you don't want to do that. You want to repeat the cycle, and you also want to reinforce what you already know. So if there's something that you need to learn to add on to your business, like for me, in my younger days, when I was, in my younger entrepreneurial days, I was really good at marketing, and I'm still good at marketing. And I would go and start a business and couldn't figure out, well, why couldn't I sustain that business, and make it grow? You need more than marketing. Marketing, yes, it's the lifeblood of the business, but your business needs a structure. It needs accounting. It needs finance. It needs management. It needs strategy. So you need all of these things, human resources. You need all of these things to go with your business, not just one thing. So you want to go in and reinforce what you already know. Reinforce what you already know, and then you want to hyper focus. And what one of my mentors calls it, he says you want to have a laser beam focus. You want to just be so focused on your target, that you kind of block out any other obstacles or distractions. And once you do this, then you'll get to that level. You'll get to the millionaire level. And this pretty much is it. I love these steps. I mean, I think this is really, really cool, that he laid this booklet out and he put it on his heart to lay it down. This, we're talking about Grant Cardone. He's a, multi-millionaire. It's like hundreds of millions of dollars that he's earned, uh, his personal income, you know, and like I said, and like he said, be careful who you listen to. I'll listen to this dude. He's walked the path. I like his results. So if I wanted to even get some results that were similar to his, then I need to follow what he's saying do. All right. And that goes for you as well. So real quick, I'll recap them. The first one is you got to make a decision. That's step one, the millionaire decision. Step two is do the millionaire math. Step three is increase income. Step um, four is who's got my money. Step five is stay broke. Step six, save to invest. Don't save to save. Step seven, multiple flows of income. Step eight, repeat, reinforce, and hyper focus. And if you see this website that you've been seeing at the bottom here, if you want to get more real mindset, leadership, and marketing tips, we have weekly marketing webinars. Go to this website at the bottom, successbam.weeklymarketingwebinars.org, and go ahead and get registered. You'll get a registration confirmation link, and make sure we do these webinars every single Wednesday so you can learn how to market your business correctly. A lot of people have no idea how to market their business online. You get some very, very cutting edge strategies. It's different every single week, with some top earner who's really taking their business to the next level, and you leave with some really good value. All right. So if you got some value from this particular video, go down to where you see the comments, maybe above this video or below this video, leave a comment, and definitely share this with a friend. All right. Bye-bye.